we're not thinking about Canelo right now, but I mean, if the fight come across the table, I definitely take that fight.
When the sport's most decorated welterweight declares his pick for boxing's biggest dream match, fans listen. The question of who prevails between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford has split boxing down the middle, drawing fevered debates from gyms to boardrooms. Errol Spence Jr., himself a direct victim of Crawford's surgical brilliance, now steps forward with a breakdown as blunt as it is insightful, setting the stage for a super middleweight showdown that could define a generation. Errol Spence Jr., the former unified welterweight champion, wasted no time declaring his support for Terence Crawford in the looming megafight with Canelo Alvarez. In his view, if anyone possesses the tools to ascend 2 weight classes and conquer the dominant super middleweight champion, it is Crawford. Spence's perspective comes rooted in first-hand experience and a unique vantage point, having both competed at the highest level and suffered a clinical defeat at the hands of the Nebraska-born switch hitter. According to Spence, the intangible pursuit of greatness is what sets Crawford apart and propels him into a challenge where most would hesitate. Throughout various interviews, Spence has articulated unwavering belief in Crawford's ambition and skills. If anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off, Spence asserted. Despite refraining from making guarantees, Spence's sentiment never wavers. Crawford has the mindset and talent to climb into uncharted territory and emerge victorious. For Spence, Crawford's journey toward greatness transcends weight limits and conventional wisdom, inviting a leap into history rather than simply another title defense. In Spence's words, he's chasing greatness, so why not?
I feel like 165, 168, that's more my natural weight, and it's a lot easier for me to make.
Canelo Alvarez stands as the sport's reigning king at 168 pounds, boasting an arsenal built for destruction and an iron chin forged through wars with elite power punchers. Alvarez's journey from super welterweight to light heavyweight is a testament to his ability to absorb punishment and impose his will on opponents much larger than those Crawford has ever faced. The Mexican champion's resume features victories over the likes of Sergey Kovalev at 175 pounds, as well as hard-fought battles with Gennady Golovkin and Dmitry Bivol. Few fighters in recent memory have demonstrated Canelo's durability against sustained power, and his confidence in close-quarters warfare is second to none.
The Crawford-Canelo, is this something that you could honestly think that should happen? There's weight classes for a reason.
Crawford, on the other hand, is defined by sublime ring intelligence, footwork, switch hitting, and a penchant for adapting to every style thrown his way. As a welterweight, Crawford routinely displayed knockout power, accuracy, and a relentless drive to break down opposition. However, the jump from 147 to 168 pounds is unprecedented, not only for the physical toll, but also the quality of opposition in the higher weight divisions. Critics argue that Crawford, despite his brilliance, has never absorbed the type of punishment Canelo dishes out or contended with genuine super middleweight power.
You could have him, why not? Crawford want to challenge himself to be great. Let him try to be great.
Analyst Dan Raphael points out a nuanced view of the size discussion. The comparison between Canelo and Crawford should not rest solely on their physiques at press events, but rather on their track records of enduring punches from men in their respective divisions. Canelo's body has grown accustomed to absorbing blows from much larger fighters, while Crawford's resistance to such power remains unproven at super middleweight. Question of whether Crawford's shots lie debate.
Challenge himself to be great. Let him try to be great. I'm with it.
No observer understands Crawford's ring mastery better than Errol Spence Jr. Their July 2023 clash for undisputed welterweight supremacy saw Crawford dismantle Spence in a fashion rarely witnessed at the elite level. Over 9 punishing rounds, Crawford landed 185 of 369 punches, including 98 power shots at a 60% connect rate, while Spence could muster just 96 of 480, landing a mere 20%. Crawford's footwork, angles, and switch hitting exposed gaps in Spence's style, leading analysts to conclude that only a generational fighter could dominate a champion of Spence's caliber so decisively.
I'll be going for Bud, if he fight Canelo.
You got Crawford over Bud?
Spence credits Crawford's blend of precision, adaptability, and psychological acumen as the reasons behind his dominance. Crawford's timing and ability to process opponents in real time renders predictable strategies obsolete. For Spence, these qualities make Crawford the ideal candidate to attempt the impossible, dethroning a much larger champion in a hostile environment. Yet Spence is measured, stopping short of declaring an outright victory, instead championing Crawford's pursuit of greatness and willingness to court danger for the sake of legacy.
You got Crawford over Canelo? Sorry.
I said I'll be going for him. I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he's going to win or lose, but I definitely...
The potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is more than a simple clash of size versus speed. It is a stylistic chess match where each man's greatest strength is the other's greatest test. Canelo's approach is rooted in relentless body attacks, tight defense, and calculated pressure. He often seeks to break opponents down physically, capitalizing on his power and ring presence to control the pace. Canelo rarely gets outworked inside, and his head movement and counterpunching have frustrated elite boxers for over a decade. Crawford, by contrast, operates with an elastic approach to distance, darting in and out of range, constantly shifting stances, and keeping opponents guessing. His command of timing enables him to land with maximum effect, often punishing aggression with pinpoint counters. Against Spence, Crawford's mastery of range and feints created openings for devastating hooks and uppercuts, culminating in a performance that secured his status as the pound-for-pound king.
What you talking about? I knew he was going to be here.
And you knew I was going to pull up.
That's why I came.
Did you know I was going to pull up?
Oh, God, I knew he was going to be here.
Did you know I was going to pull up?
In a Canelo matchup, Crawford's adaptability and tactical sharpness will be tested against relentless forward pressure and the kind of power that can change a fight with a single punch. Spence and other experts agree that Crawford's best chance lies in exploiting angles, maintaining lateral movement, and refusing to stand and trade with the bigger man. The margin for error is razor thin. A lapse in concentration could mean disaster against Canelo's firepower. Historically, moving up multiple weight classes to face an established champion presents immense challenges. Hall of Fame legend Sugar Ray Leonard, who successfully jumped divisions himself, has cautioned Crawford about the risks inherent in such a leap. Leonard's advice is to maximize mobility, use the ring's full dimensions, and never engage in extended exchanges with a physically superior opponent. Canelo's proven ability to withstand punishment from light heavyweights underscores the magnitude of the task ahead.
Where you at?
Did you know I got a text message,
nigga, from 3 o'clock.
and you got a FaceTime for me and you didn't answer?
Analysts also debate the impact of age and wear on both fighters. Crawford, approaching his late 30s, is at an age where physical decline can begin to manifest, particularly when absorbing punishment from naturally larger foes. Critics point to his performance in moving up to 154 pounds as evidence that power and speed may not translate seamlessly to 168. On the other hand, Canelo's punch output and sharpness have arguably diminished in recent bouts, with some suggesting that the Mexican star is past his prime. Spence remains steadfast in his support, pointing out that greatness often requires walking through fire. He recognizes that Crawford's quest is high risk, but insists that the skills and psychological edge that led to his own defeat could translate even at a higher weight. If anyone possesses the attributes necessary to unseat Canelo, Spence contends, it is Crawford. The intrigue surrounding Canelo versus Crawford extends far beyond Spence's personal views. Legendary fighters, analysts, and trainers are united in one aspect. This is a true super fight with no easy answers. Oscar De La Hoya, himself a former multi-division champion, remains torn. He acknowledges Canelo's imposing punch resistance and natural size advantage, yet reserves admiration for Crawford's ring intelligence, adaptability, and competitive spirit. De La Hoya frames the bout as a contest of heart and IQ, yet cannot overlook the historic difficulty of a smaller man toppling an elite big man.
Canelo's back on Terence Crawford to beat you. Why has he got it wrong on Saturday night?
He got it wrong because...
Jaron Boots Ennis, a rising welterweight contender, offers a warning of his own. He believes that jumping 2 divisions without a tune-up fight is an immense risk, emphasizing that Canelo's knockout power has routinely floored men close to 200 pounds. Ennis suggests that Crawford's skill set is undeniable, but the physical disparity could prove insurmountable unless a new strategy and physical preparation are introduced. Ennis advocates for Crawford to take a fight at 160 pounds first to acclimatize and add the necessary muscle and resilience before challenging Canelo. Amir Khan, One of the few to share the ring with both, brings an insider's perspective. Khan found Canelo easily hit but overwhelmingly strong, while Crawford's elusiveness and precision made him almost impossible to connect with cleanly. Khan believes Crawford's footwork and ring IQ provide a genuine opportunity, as long as he avoids unnecessary exchanges and boxes with discipline. For Khan, the intrigue lies in Crawford's size as a welterweight and whether it translates to super middleweight success.
He not God, and then he backed himself to beat Bivol, and he got his ass whooped.
Hey, Errol, really quick.
Joel Diaz, renowned for coaching Israel Madrimov, bluntly rejects Crawford's chances against Canelo, emphasizing the critical importance of bodywork. Diaz argues that while Crawford's shifting stances and head movement frustrate headhunters, his midsection remains vulnerable. According to Diaz, Madrimov's early body attacks noticeably diminished Crawford's effectiveness. Canelo, arguably the sport's premier body puncher, poses a new level of threat, possessing both the technique and power to break down opponents over the long haul. Diaz contends that Crawford simply lacks the durability to survive sustained punishment to the body at 168 pounds.
What was you telling him while you was whooping this boy's ass? Because that was crazy.
I just told him he a
Yet, supporters of Crawford highlight his ability to process and adapt under fire. Legendary trainer Teddy Atlas remains firmly in the Crawford camp, describing the Omaha native's ring IQ, timing, and perception as unique X factors. Atlas cautions that while Canelo brings power and pedigree, his recent decline in activity and speed could open the door for a fighter of Crawford's intelligence. Atlas believes that Crawford's switch-hitting, defensive skills, and psychological fortitude could allow him to neutralize Canelo's strengths, especially if the champion underestimates the complexity of Crawford's attack. One area where Spence and other experts see a potential advantage for Crawford is in psychological preparation. Crawford is widely recognized for his analytical mind, calm demeanor, and ability to process opponents before and during the fight. Spence, having experienced this firsthand, credits Crawford's ability to anticipate, adapt, and visualize outcomes as unique assets that few fighters possess. Observers note that Crawford's focus on legacy and desire for clean, loophole-free victories drive his preparation. He has refused catchweight clauses, weight restrictions, and even a rematch clause, insisting on facing Canelo at his absolute best.
And I told him some more but
Crawford's insistence on meeting Canelo without concessions reveals a mindset intent on removing all potential excuses. He seeks the toughest challenge and highest stakes, echoing the sentiment of greats who pursued history over comfort. Such psychological strength may be an intangible, but it has proven decisive in elite matchups where margins are razor thin. As anticipation builds, the business aspect of the fight has come under scrutiny. Promoter Samson Lucas points out that the spectacle of Canelo versus Crawford may be driven as much by marketability as by sporting merit. The risks to health and the legitimacy of such a matchup are debated, with some suggesting the event is a natural outcome of the modern era's quest for blockbuster pay-per-view events. For purists, the matchup is a test of boxing's core principles. Can skills, timing, and intelligence overcome raw power and size? For others, it is a business-driven spectacle designed to capture imaginations and wallets in equal measure. Either way, the public's fascination is undeniable, as the prospect of a smaller man conquering the odds remains one of sport's most enduring narratives.
you know, I ain't gonna say everything, but you know, it was just heat of moment. You know, I just wanted to let them know.
Boxing history is littered with examples of smaller champions daring to chase greatness against larger, more powerful foes. From Henry Armstrong to Sugar Ray Leonard to Manny Pacquiao, some have succeeded while others have met their limits. The margin for error in such endeavors is minuscule, and the physical consequences are often severe. In the final analysis, the division between those who back Crawford and those who believe in Canelo's size and strength remains stark. Spence stands with Crawford, motivated by first-hand experience and an appreciation for his opponent's unique abilities. Yet even Spence acknowledges the enormity of the task, emphasizing that while the path is narrow, it is not impossible. Boxing's greatest moments are forged in risk, ambition, and the relentless pursuit of history.
It was just heat of moment. You know, I just wanted to let them know how I felt. and let them know that, you know what I mean,
The task facing Crawford's training camp in devising a strategy for Canelo Alvarez is unlike any previous assignment. As preparation commences, the challenge lies not only in building muscle mass or enhancing punch resistance, but in constructing a game plan tailored to an opponent who is both a physical and tactical menace. Renowned trainers in the sport have commented that facing Canelo at super middleweight demands a focus on cumulative disruption rather than trading blow for blow. Coaches analyzing potential blueprints suggest that Crawford's best path to victory involves using rhythm changes, feinting patterns, and constant pivots to unsettle Canelo's sense of timing. Instead of fighting in predictable spurts, Crawford's movement, unpredictable angles, and layered combinations will need to create moments of hesitation and doubt in Canelo's usually unshakable approach.
Well, listen, I called Canelo out because, like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the
Nutritionists and strength coaches alike are called to innovate, as the process of adding size without losing agility and speed is a delicate balancing act. In boxing history, few have successfully scaled this mountain. Examples abound of fighters who lost their signature fluidity and timing when packing on muscle in pursuit of a heavier foe. For Crawford's team, the months ahead will be devoted to ensuring that increased physicality does not dilute the qualities, timing, reflexes, and precision that make him an elite fighter. The ideal result would see Crawford arrive as a larger man, but still fundamentally the same stylistic puzzle that has confounded welterweights for years.
The era that surpassed us, you know, the Floyd, the Pacquiao, the De La Hoya.
In the build-up to the fight, media coverage and mind games will play a pivotal role in shaping public perception and potentially influencing the psychological preparation of each combatant. Promoters, analysts, and former champions will dissect every move, every word, every stare down. In this high-stakes environment, psychological composure often proves as crucial as technical skill. Observers point out that Canelo, with his years atop the boxing hierarchy, is no stranger to pressure, yet Crawford's unflappable demeanor may provide an edge in mental warfare.
We both came up in that era, and he was right there with those fighters, and he got the chance to fight.
The rhetoric from both camps, already fiery, will likely intensify. Canelo's team may seek to portray Crawford's challenge as audacious or even reckless, while Crawford's supporters will emphasize the relentless pursuit of legacy over comfort. Amid this back and forth, the fighters themselves must remain insulated from distractions, maintaining clarity of purpose even as the narrative swirls around them. The implications of Canelo versus Crawford extend far beyond the two men in the ring. For aspiring fighters, trainers, and fans, this contest is an emblem of boxing's eternal allure, the daring to dream beyond limits, to redefine what is possible.
The Miguel Cottos, the Floyd Mayweathers, and, you know, the Kovalevs and Triple Gs, and I wasn't able to get those.
In the world of boxing, nothing is ever certain until the opening bell. Experts can analyze and predict, but it is only in the crucible of the ring that destiny is written. As Errol Spence Jr. and the sport's other luminaries have made clear, the Canelo versus Crawford showdown is a once-in-a-generation spectacle, a clash of styles, strengths, and wills that will define the legacies of both men. With fans, fighters, and legends all weighing in, the only certainty is that the eyes of the boxing world will be glued to the ring when these two champions meet. Will Crawford's technical mastery and psychological strength be enough to overcome Canelo's proven power and size? Or will the time-honored truth of a good big man beats a good little man prevail once more? The answers will come not in words, but in the unforgiving arena where greatness is earned, never given.